The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new Pierce Tillard aerial, job number 35215. Please utilize the 5-digit job number referenced here when contacting Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's start with a brief orientation of your new vehicle. Starting on the bumper extension, you'll find dual air horns on the passenger and driver side. Just inside of that location, you'll find dual speakers for your siren and PA speaker system. Also, directly off the frame rail, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks protruding through the front bumper. Directly in the center, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the cab. On the outer edge, you'll find a clearance marker light and turn indicator. Just inside of that location, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is located on the inside. Moving directly up from the headlight structure, you'll find emergency warning lights. And above those emergency warning lights, you'll find grab handles for gaining access to the windshield area. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edges, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving directly in the center behind the windshield, you'll find your Haas system. And as we move up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Incorporated within that floodlight, you'll find your clearance lights. All the way up to the very top, you'll find your emergency warning light housed in the center and opticom. Let's take a look at the full vehicle here. Let's go ahead and start with the cab. At the base of the cab, you'll find your axle, sight gauge located in the center, blacked out wheels, and Goodyear tires. As we move to the outer edge step area, you'll find clearance and step lights. As we move to the front A-pillar of the vehicle, you'll find emergency warning light side facing. Also, here's an image of the clearance and also turn indicator. As we move to the door handles, easily accessible with a gloved hand, they are also keyed. Right next to that, you'll find the grab handles, which are at each point of entry. As we move toward the rear of the cab, you'll find an emergency warning light. And then just beneath that emergency warning light, you'll find your air eject and also shoreline eject. Moving up to the very top, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. You'll also find D handles to gain access into each of these cabinets. We'll go through those in just a few moments. Let's take a look at some close-ups. First, shoreline inlet, 20 amp auto eject, and also a digital readout. To the right, auto eject air and emergency warning light directly above. As we move to the rear of the cab, you'll find a compartment. D handle gains you access into this lower compartment. As we move to the very rear section, you'll find a through compartment. Moving up to the upper corner, you'll find LED box lights. As we move to the very back section on the wall is where you'll find your SCBA mount. Moving now to the warning information. Warning regarding fall hazard. Always face the vehicle while climbing on it. Let's go ahead and start into the cab area. We'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, all of our safety and warning information placards. As we move up from this, you'll find a door lock and latch combination. And moving directly above that, you'll find your electric windows and also a grab handle. Let's take a general view here into the cab area. Let's first start with this yellow placard located on the vertical wall of the engine cowling. And then also comfort controls for your seat, air ride, front, and also tilt. Let's move back to that yellow placard. This is the manufactured for your department from Pierce, indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation. It has the VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each device, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. Let's move down to the floor where you'll find the electronic siren foot pedal, mechanical siren, brake treadle, and accelerator. As we move up to about the left knee of the operator, master battery switch. Just to the right, you'll find the tech module, engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic ports.
And then as we move down, you'll find switches here for ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit. On the far right, you'll find your display port. Moving to the opposite side, you'll find your hours located on a digital readout. Let's move up to the dash area. On the left, you'll find the ignition and start switch. As we move to the right, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage and disengage all lights within the emergency system. Just to the right, you'll find your headlight and also panel light, which allows you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. To the right, you'll find the high idle switch and OK to engage the high idle indicator. As we move to the gauges, you'll find your transmission, oil pressure, def level, and water temp on the left. As we move to the right, front and rear air, fuel, and volts. Directly in the center, you'll find the tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. As we move up to the very far right, you'll find an LED indicator light for jackknife warning. Let's move just to the operator's right, and we'll start first with a quick image here of everything, and then we'll go into all of the components individually. Let's start at the very top with a 7-inch diagonal screen. This is your command zone, tremendous amount of information. You can utilize this with a gloved hand or by touch. To the right, you'll find windshield wiper control, rotate, and push to apply fluid. As we move down, you'll find the engine brake on and off switch, medium, low, and high setting switch for that engine brake, off-road traction, and mirror heat. As we move further down, you'll find the yellow diamond, which is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Just down from that location, you'll find mirror control for the flat mirror and convex mirror, passenger and driver side. You'll also find an audible system here for warning buzzer, 1 stop, 2 go, 3 backup, and also an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate, which allows you to brighten or dampen the sound. Just to the right, you'll find your Allison push-button transmission digital readout. We also have some warning information here. Always engage the parking brake and keep the engine running while the front wheel lock is engaged. As we move to the right, you'll find climate control, heat and air conditioning defrost. Moving further to the right, you'll find your PA speaker system and also electronic siren. Let's look overhead in the cab. I'd like to direct your attention to the left side placard. This is yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 11 feet 1.63 inches, length 59 feet 5.5 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 73,300 pounds. Just to the right, you'll find a push button. This is for your radio push to talk. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the switching up above. First, emergency panel, emergency master, momentary opticom, load manager, siren brake for your mechanical siren, backup alarm disable, and perimeter lighting. Let's move just to the right of this location to an additional switch panel. Driver side scene all, front scene, officer side scene all, and also rear scene. Just as a reminder, these are switches when pushed. The green LED light will illuminate around, indicating that it is on. Let's move further to the right where you'll find the aerial master, generator PTO, Tillerman not seated, lockout cylinders engaged, front wheel lock, generator power on, diff lock, air horn / city horn. Let's move further to the right where you'll find your AM FM weather band radio, Sirius XM CD player. Also, you'll find just underneath, this is the do not move your apparatus when the light is on, indicating you have a compartment door open. General view to the rear section of the cab. We'll start to identify a few items within the rear area. First, let's start behind the driver's seat with your wireless module. As we move down from that location, you'll find your Motorola. This is the head unit for your radio system. Just to the right, you're going to find your intercom system master control. And as we move further down across the very bottom, you'll find 12-volt access. And then further to the right, you'll find a silver switch. This is to isolate your batteries for long-term maintenance. Let's move exterior now, directly behind the driver's seat. Exterior compartment, adjustable shelving, LED lighting. As we move to the rear section of the cab, let's start first with the door panel. Once again, affixed to that door panel, all of our safety and warning information placard. Door lock and latch, window control, and also a grab handle. Looking directly over the upper portion, This is directly behind the driver seat. You'll find additional storage. As we move downward from this location, you'll find an additional storage netting gains access. This is also accessible exterior, adjustable shelf, and also compartment light. As we move to the rear section of the engine area, you'll find a lift and turn latch will gain you access into the rear portion of the engine for your daily checks for oil and transmission. Let's move to the rear cab wall. Your seats do sit on a pedestal, and underneath that pedestal is where you'll find lift and turn latch gains you access into your battery charging system. Also, overhead, you'll find additional storage above the seat compartment. As we move now to the exterior portion, couple of warning information placards here. Anchor point direct pull only. It's down on the lower section. Also, warning regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after receiving proper training. We do have a warning regarding danger, crush hazard. And also in the upper right-hand corner, you'll find this tip over hazard, indicating that the fifth wheel must be locked during aerial operations. As we move further to the right, we do have a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. And then up to the right, a caution. Driver's side latch must be released before moving lever to the free position. Let's take a look at some close-ups here. First, let's start with the outer edge. You also have an additional attachment anchor point and also a warning placard. As we move to the right, you'll find your aerial inlet. There is an inlet gauge and also a butterfly valve located at the very top section with an indicator. Let's move now to the rear portion of the tractor area, where we'll start first with your fill location, 4.5 US gallons. This is your DEF tank, and it is a blue cap. As we move toward the rear of the vehicle, you'll find the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Let's continue to move further back now. We'll find an inclinometer. This is front to back, indicating green, yellow, and red. You'll also find passenger side stabilizers and driver side stabilizers at the top and emergency shutdown. Let's move to the right, where you'll find an additional warning regarding aerial tip over. And then as we move to the very back, once again on the side panel of the door, you'll find additional warning placards. Let's move further back for your overrides. You can see that the activation device at the very top section, valves, do match the lower section on the instructions here for indicating each one of those valves and its direction and position. As we move down, we do have a danger regarding high pressure hazard because of those hydraulic lines, and then also once again a tip over hazard. As we move up in the image here, a little difficult to see in this picture, so I've got an additional picture. It's in the arrowed area at the top. This is going to be your emergency aerial power, is the selector switch upward, or stabilizer emergency power switch downward. Also on the stabilizers, we do have some warning placard information regarding crush injury, and then also danger regarding electrocution because your aerial ladder device is not insulated. As we move through the rest of the compartments here, we'll identify a few items within here. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner with your main disconnect on and off. As we move through the rest of the compartments, just to point out, LED lighting and also dry deck material on the base of each one of those compartment floors, and then also in the trays. Here is the 3 through compartments closest to the front of the vehicle. Each of the trays does allow a release mechanism on the right-hand side to open and close. As we move into the compartment, you'll find shoreline outlet plug. This is a 20 amp. When plugged into shoreline power, that outlet will become active. This is the last of the through compartments. You'll find trays, release mechanism, lower right side. As we move inside this compartment, you'll also find shoreline outlet 20 amp. Once again, when plugged into shoreline power, this outlet will become active. The very base will find a pull-out tray. Release mechanism is going to be located on the lower right side. Also in this compartment, you have a shoreline outlet 20 amp. Let's move to the next compartments. This is just above the rear axle. Also like to point out in this compartment, shoreline outlet 20 amp. As we move downward, you'll also find just below the SCBA bottle storage an additional outlet, 20 amp. And then as we move toward the rear, this is just after the rear axle, you'll find adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and in the uppermost vertical side sheet, a shoreline outlet, 20 amp. You'll also find your ABS diagnostic plug for your maintenance team. As we move directly to the rear where the access location is to gain access to the upper portion of the tiller person position, I have a warning label here regarding always facing the vehicle while climbing on it. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, ladder storage in the center. As we move downward, you'll find direct pull access here on these two tow hooks located in the very rear attached to the torque box. As we move downward from this location, you'll find rear scene lights on and off, also some warning information and danger information regarding electrocution hazard. Once again, your vehicle is not insulated. Also down from this location, never ride on the vehicle while it is in motion. Let's take a general look here at the entire side of the vehicle. This is the passenger side, all compartments in the open position. Let's start back at the rear of the apparatus. First starting with the access going up to the tiller person position. Once again, fall hazard, always face the vehicle while climbing on it. Same configuration for the most part as we move through the compartments, although this side does have SCBA bottle storage location and also a light box. In the upper corner, you'll also find shoreline power 20 amp plug. Moving to the next compartment, I didn't mention earlier, but there's also bottle storage on the passenger and driver side. Lift and turn latch gains you access into those, and then also shoreline power 20 amp located in this compartment. As we move to the forward section, you'll find your folding wheel chock storage location just underneath, also a pull-out tray, release mechanism located on the right-hand side, and in the uppermost portion of this compartment, vertical side sheet, you'll also find shoreline outlet 20 amp. As we move through the rest of the compartments, let's move forward from this point. You'll find adjustable shelving and also mounting tool equipment on the back and side walls. As we move to the upper portion, you'll find shoreline outlet 20 amp located in this compartment also. As we move to the forward through compartments, same configuration as you have on the driver's side as you will on the passenger side. As we move through the two forward compartments here, once again, these are through compartments. They do also share the shoreline outlet 20 amp outlet. As we move to the next forward compartment, directly underneath this compartment is where you're going to find your stabilizer pad storage location, passenger and driver side. As we move forward to this area, you'll also find some danger and warning information placard first at the top. This is your stabilizer, so there's the possibility of crush because of the movement. Also beneath that, you'll find electrocution hazard. Once again, your vehicle and ladder is not insulated. As we move forward, lift and turn latch gains you access into this input-output modules. There are a variety of them through the truck. These happen to be an access location. As we move forward to that location, passenger side and driver side stabilizers, and also an inclinometer, green, yellow, and red. Also on the back side of the door, you'll also find an aerial stability hazard. As we move forward to this location, same configuration as the driver's side, direct pull on the anchor system, and there is a warning label. This is your passenger side aerial inlet. You also have the butterfly wheel valve located at the top and also a pressure gauge. At the very bottom, you'll find an 1.5-inch ball valve. This is your aerial drain. Just a little review as we had on the other side. Caution label regarding driver's side latch must be released before moving lever to the free position. Also direct pull on the anchor system. We'll go ahead and cover a few more of these warnings regarding crush hazard danger because of the outrigger movement and aerial turntable movement. As we move down, pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also to the right regarding a warning regarding the fifth wheel, tip over hazard. Fifth wheel must be locked during aerial operations. As we move just in front of the axle, you're going to find this warning regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operations. Let's move forward of this into the compartment space itself. Through compartment, same configuration as the driver's side, SCBA storage location, also two light boxes. Located on the side sheet here, we're going to find your cab lift. There are instructions to raise and also lower. Some danger information, making sure everything is secure inside the cab. You'll also find your Harrison control module located in this area. As we move forward of that location, you'll find the G1 breakers. These are located here in the very front section of the through compartment of the cab area. Let's move from this position to the cab itself, where you'll find in the lower portion, D handle gains access into this space. As we move upright into the compartment area, into the very rear section, you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning information, door lock and latch located in the upper left, window control, and a grab handle. As we look inside, you'll find the two EMS compartments, adjustable shelving inside, LED lighting. Directly above, you'll also find additional storage at the roof level. Let's move back down to the EMS compartments. Also, there are light switches on the top section of those. Individual push on and off white or red lens lights at the roof level. And as we move exterior now, this is that exterior compartment gaining access directly behind the officer seat. As we move into the officer space, let's start first, once again with the door panel. Affixed to it, all of our safety and warning information. We have a door lock and latch, and also grab handle, and also window control. Directly behind the officer seat, you'll find 12-volt access blocks. And also as we look to the forward section, you'll find your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag. At the floor level, you'll find your air horn and also mechanical siren foot pedals. Moving up, you'll find this warning label regarding your supplemental restraint system and not mounting anything within this area. As we look to the left-hand side, you'll find 12-volt access via USB style and also your intercom system box, push to talk. Moving up to the ceiling level, same thing, we have push on and off white or red lenses. As we move through the components, first we'll start with some switching. Driver side, scene all. Front scene, officer side scene all. Generator PTO, perimeter lights, rear scene, siren brake for that mechanical siren, and also generator power on. As we move further to the right, you'll find the Motorola head unit for your radio system. And then here, just a general view of the overall cab upper portion. You'll find in the center, do not move your apparatus light directly behind the Haas indicator. Let's move up to the cab area. On the very top, you'll find in the center your marker light for the operator at the tiller person position. Also, you'll find these warning labels. This is a non-walking surface. Let's move to the rear section of the cab in the walkthrough space. First, let's start on the left-hand side of the image, which will be on the driver's side. Cutout here is indicating this is going to be your hydraulic oil pressure for your aerial device. Moving to the right, you'll find the aerial hydraulic oil fill location. Also, just a closer look here at the placard itself. And then as we move further to the right, an additional hatch gains access into the power steering fluid. Let's move up onto the pedestal area where we'll start first with a 4-section aerial device. Moving to the right, you'll find your pedestal. Affixed on the pedestal outside edge, you're going to find some danger and warning information. First regarding crush injury, and then also aerial tip over hazard for short jacking. To the right, you'll find all of the ascendant information regarding your ladder. As we move to the forward section, you'll find your intercom system, push to talk, and volume control. Also to the right, you'll find your aerial hours. Let's move now to the screen that shows and displays your information on the command zone. Once again, you can utilize your finger or gloved hand. Emergency stop in the upper left, tip lights, tracking lights, aerial speed, fast or normal, generator PTO, air horn, ladder illumination, and emergency hydraulic power. Moving downward from this location, we're going to find ladder control, extend, retract, right, left, raise, and lower. Also, you'll find in the upper left-hand corner the nozzle position, whether it's deployed or stow. And then just beneath that, you'll find nozzle control, stream, fog, lower, raise, right, and left. Let's move to the cover section where you'll find some warning and danger placard information. Also, I'd like to point out on the very far right-hand side, your information regarding specifications for 1911. Also, information regarding waterway dry, waterway charged, and also the monitor nozzle position. Down at the very bottom section, you'll find additional asterisk information regarding freezing conditions as an example. Let's move to the aerial device itself. First, starting at the base area, you'll find part of the life bracket system. Also, as we move up onto the aerial device, you'll find on the base section a 10-foot roof ladder. Moving just inside of that location to the fly area, you'll find additional storage for long-handled tools. and also fold down steps. Let's move now to the tip of the ladder, where you'll find your tip lights on the left-hand side. As we move just inside of that location, you'll find the selector switch for either having the nozzle at the full tip or reducing the tip position to a lower point on the fly. As we move to the right, you'll find nozzle control. Moving to the outer edges, you'll find scabbards for your chainsaw. Also, you'll find forward-facing adjustable lights and also your intercom speaker. Let's move now to the very rear of the apparatus, where the tiller position is located. Let's go inside the cab area, general view of the uppermost portion of the cab. Let's start on the left and move across to the right. This is going to be your fan control for cool and heat. As we move to the right, we have backup alarm disable, perimeter lights, generator PTO, driver's scene, officer scene, rear scene, and wheel scene. Let's move further to the right, where you'll find an axle steering position location, left, center, or right. As we move to the right, you'll also find a few switches: windshield wiper fluid, wash, and also control. Moving to the right, your step lights, a jackknife warning, and trailer ABS. Also to the very far right, you have a radio push to talk. Just beneath that, you'll find the control module for your traffic advisor. Let's move further to the right, you'll find your heater control module. And as we move down to the steering column area, let's start on the left-hand side with fan control. As we move to the very center, we have generator operating instructions and also not wearing your helmet while occupying in the cab. Here's a general video with the lights on the on position. Congratulations, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new Pierce Tillard aerial. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.